If you are someone who is not completely sold on becoming a psychologist, then this video is specifically for you, because we're going to touch on all the different ways to become a mental health professional, all the different ways that I think are going to be really helpful and are going to be some things that you should really look into if you're not so sure you want to become a psychologist. What is up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpong. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, and graduate school. If it's your first time here, what I do on this channel is basically answer any questions that you guys may have about college, about graduate school, or about clinical psychology PsyD school. One of the questions that we have today is maybe some alternative careers to clinical psychology. Now, I do think this is a really important question. A lot of you guys have applied to clinical psychology schools, and maybe you actually went through the program or went through a couple years and decided that it wasn't for you. Maybe you are on the verge of trying to decide whether or not it's going to be for you, and so maybe you're looking for other options in the mental health field. If you know that you want to become a mental health professional, there is a lot of different options available in terms of not just becoming a therapist or a psychologist, but actually doing some really creative things that we're going to talk about in this video. All right, we're going to start with art therapy, and this is going to be for all of my people who are really invested and love art. I think this is going to be a really great option for you. Art therapy is something that is state regulated in the United States. It's one of those things where basically people are using art as forms of therapy to help with kids or even adults. And so it's basically integrating therapy with creative processes to improve overall well-being. And I think this is so cool and so creative in a sense, because I'm sure a lot of patients and clients are going to really be able to love this and are going to be able to benefit from this in a really powerful way. And so if you have a bachelor's degree, in order to become an art therapist, you are going to have to look for a master's program, and then from there probably go through some type of certification to become an art therapist. You're not going to be able to prescribe medication with this degree, but again, I think this is a really helpful thing and a really good alternative option if you don't want to go into a doctoral degree. The next thing is going to be play therapy, and you may have heard of play therapy. This also is state regulated, or whether it's using therapeutic processes to help kids understand really hard mental health issues or illnesses. Play therapy is a great option if you are not wanting to go into a doctorate. With this, there requires a bachelor's as well as a master's degree. Also important to note is that you will not be able to prescribe medication, but again, when you look into master's programs with play therapy, I'm sure you'll be able to find a lot of different options across the states for all different types of things that play therapists can do. Now, one thing that we've talked a lot about in this channel is psychiatry. So if you don't want to go into clinical psychology, psychiatry is an option. You will have to go into med school and then also go into a residency program after that. All right, finally, we have the three very popular options in terms of people who may not want to do a doctorate but do want to become a therapist. There's a licensed marriage family therapist, a licensed professional clinical counselor, a licensed clinical social worker. Now, these letters may vary state to state, so I would do some research in your own state to see what these letters are, but basically overall, they're gonna be equivalent to being a master's level therapist. All of these three things are gonna focus on therapy, but they may focus on therapy in a little bit of a different way. A licensed marriage and family therapist, you can guess, is mainly going to work with couples and families and children and so forth. The licensed professional clinical counselor probably is going to work with individuals over a large scope of psychological or social development. And finally, a licensed clinical social worker can do therapy, but they may do also case management. They also may work with families and children in settings that are not optimal to them. And so they might actually also do a lot of administrative work as well, along with therapy. All right, guys, the last one is going to be life coaching. Now, one of the things that I will say about life coaching is that it is very popular, and there's a lot of different types of life coaches that you can become. There's health and wellness coaches, there's executive coaches, there's online coaches, there's online personal training coaches. So in becoming a coach, if you're trying to look for a reputable company, I would look for one that has a lot of reviews and really does good work in terms of helping their coaches, because you could choose a certification that really does not have that much weight. A lot of times people will go for the international known regulations and certifications because that will help them in terms of when they perhaps work with clients internationally. Usually those international accreditations are really top notch, and so that's something to be aware of. The focus is coaching and not therapy. And this is basically helping someone achieve some type of goal, whether it's academic, financial, professional, social, whatever it is. Now, there is no schooling required to become a coach, and so that means that anyone from high school can become a coach. These guys, of course, are not able to prescribe medication or do anything clinically, but they are probably a great type of career if you're not looking to go into school or have student loan debt, or maybe become more of an entrepreneur and do your own thing. This is also another alternative option for you. Please put it down in the comment section below which one that you are most interested in. And if there are any people who are in the crowd listening to this who are any one of these 6 professions, I would also love to hear from you about your thoughts on what your profession is and what you do. And hopefully that could also help some of the community members as well. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.